Hello. I, as I promised, I wanted to just share more from this book today, "Celebrities for Jesus: How Personas, Platforms, and Profits Are Hurting the Church." I just find it so incredibly helpful. So thank you to Katelyn Beaty for this book. I again want to just start with something positive, a contrast to what many of us have been experiencing and what has caused me to feel I need to speak out. So here's a contrast in her writing. Christians should be the first to insist on the primacy of in-person relationships. We worship a God who took in-person relationship seriously, so seriously that he was born incarnate to an unwed mother in the backwaters of an ancient Roman province to get close to us. In response to Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, early believers formed intimate communities of solidarity and self-sacrifice, where leaders lived in proximity with their followers. They met together daily, pooled their resources to provide for those in need, and ate together in their homes with glad and sincere hearts. At its best, the local church is the place where loneliness and isolation are replaced with real, vulnerable relationships for leaders as well as for members. Now we'll get to why the lack of this so much in Christian circles. So why do Christians keep putting people on pedestals, asking them to fulfill their own parasocial needs? Why do we turn our leaders into untouchable personas rather than letting them live and serve as their true beloved selves? Why do our icons so easily become idols? The answer, it turns out, takes us back to, she's introducing the next section, the way up is down. But anyway, the answer takes us back to certain things she's already addressed. But when Christians feed on a story of persecution and cultural embattlement, they're prone to take any Christian in the public spotlight as a kingdom win. So this goes to why Christians put people on pedestals, especially that are already in the spotlight, that are already famous, such as professional athletes, people that are very eloquent, people that are very successful in various ways. So let's go to this section. That's how that section ends. But I would like to just share with you about through this section throughout her writing. It's called Three Temptations, and it's about power, platform, and persona. Okay, so I'll just read again what I've highlighted. They're just excerpts, of course. So celebrity power can corrupt and shield abusers from accountability. We see that again and again and again. She mentions many examples, both in Christianity as well as in secular circles. But I just want to ask you, listener, if you are familiar with the Lord's Recovery, with the local churches, or with any Christian group where you are aware of leaders who are not accountable, then does this apply? Celebrity power can corrupt and shield abusers from accountability. Celebrities often rely on powerful people vouching for them or looking the other way in the face of disturbing allegations. So when Philip Lee was accused of multiple times, and Philip Lee being the once manager of the Living Stream Ministry, when he was accused multiple situations of sexual impropriety, sexual assault, sexual immorality, there was a relying on powerful people vouching for them or looking the other way. And so when his dad, Witness Lee, who is considered the minister of the age in the group called the Lord's Recovery, when he was told of his son's sins, he said, "Let me take care of him." And anyway, I don't know what exactly that meant or what happened, but I do know that the problem was never properly dealt with. And there are victims still alive, including myself. Okay, their sins were systemic, enacted in a web of people who benefited from belonging to the celebrity's inner circle. So sins become systemic, enacted. There's something protected and enabled by the people who benefit from belonging to the celebrity's inner circle. Maybe they benefit by salaries, maybe they benefit by prestige, but anyway, position, being treated more nicely. Okay, celebrity power corrupts. The connection between celebrity and abuse and mistreatments of fellow image bearers. Okay, so there's a connection between celebrity and abuse and mistreatment of fellow image bearers. But if we're going to tame the wild animal of celebrity, we have to know what kind of animal we're dealing with. In order to heal the wounds of abuse, we have to examine just how deep those wounds are. So this is partly my intention or motivation for speaking out, is for the healing of wounds of abuse. Okay, a theology of power. Money, sex, and power are the trinity of age-old temptations, but we have few resources for understanding what power is and how it operates. Personal finances and sexual integrity are regular topics in Christian books and sermons. By contrast, little is taught or written about power and its effects. So here is, like sex and money, power is not inherently evil. In fact, Andy Crouch writes, the gift of a giver who is the supreme model of power used to bless and serve is what power is. The gift of a giver who is the supreme model of power used to bless and serve. So Crouch writes, power is not given to benefit those who hold it. It is given for flourishing of individuals, peoples, and the cosmos itself. Power's right use is especially important for the flourishing of the vulnerable, the members of the human family who most need others to use power well to survive and thrive, the young, the aged, the sick, and the dispossessed. That's the end of that quote by Andy Crouch. Power is the innate human ability to steward the world, to glorify God and bless creation and fellow image bearers. Yet, the mark of power rightly stewarded is that those with power enable everyone around them to flourish. People entrusted to their care thrive in material, spiritual, and relational ways and are themselves empowered to steward their own power on others' behalf. So power begets power, or entrusts power to others for them to also thrive and to share that for others to thrive. So it's very communal and very beneficial to others. Okay. When power is used properly and is stewarded well, we feel its good effects. Okay. But when power becomes an idol, promising those with power that they can be like God apart from God, those in power seek not to bless but to dominate. They take what is not theirs, exploit, crush, defeat, gaslight, ridicule, and silence. In their presence, others feel disempowered. Okay, so brothers, this is brothers that are called senior co-workers with Brother Lee, who is now gone to be with the Lord. Is your power used to bless or to dominate? Does it exploit, crush, defeat, gaslight, ridicule, and silence others who may speak out in a way that you don't like to hear? Okay. This is the type of power Jesus warned against in Matthew 20. You know that the rulers of the nations lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. The operative word is over. Jesus described a power that seeks to rule over others rather than for others. If you want to be at the top, Jesus says go lower. It's the opposite of what our idol-making hearts want. Okay, these are just quotes. I mean, I'm not reading I'm reading in chronological order of the book or whatever, but not, I'm skipping a lot. Okay, so here are some hallmarks of power rightly stewarded by people who seek to serve in the way of Jesus. The servant is the person who knows his or her spiritual poverty and exercises power under God's control to maintain right relationships. The servant leader apologizes for mistakes. A servant leader apologizes for mistakes, shows mercy when others fail, makes peace whenever possible, and endures unmerited criticism when attempting to serve God with integrity. Jesus set the pattern in his own actions on our behalf. We show ourselves to be Christ followers by following his example. Okay, the moment we think we wouldn't be enticed to abuse our power, we're in grave danger. So people in power often fall into this. They fall into starting to enjoy nice dinners, first-class travel, timeshares, access to private VIP areas. They're entitled to be treated like the most important people because they think they clearly are. They start treating people around them like they are not as important and lash out at anyone who might question their importance or restrain their power or their spending. Okay. And then I'm reading only things that I do believe apply. So I hope that this is helpful. Okay, so she's talking about a certain leader. His verbal wrath was being poured out on anyone who dared to disagree with his vision or curtail his authority. Celebrity power tells the celebrity that he can say anything, no matter how mean, tasteless, or perverse, and that others will shrug because the celebrity is too important or influential to correct. Okay, so this same leader might have believed he was building unity, but unity, in quotes, was forged by running over those who question your decisions. So unity forged by running over those who question your decisions is not unity, it's coercion. Don't run over others who question. And this has been done over and over and over again in what is called the Lord's Recovery, that if anyone questions, they are called evil, poisonous, etc. That's coercion. That is not unity. Top leaders enabled his bullying either because they benefited from proximity to his power or because they were afraid to become his next target. And I do know that feeling. Not wanting to be a target, so not wanting to speak up. But you know what? That's not what we're here for. We're here for genuine oneness, not for coercion. Okay. So the rise and fall of that person's group or whatever is not just a story about one narcissistic bully whose temper and publishing scandals finally caught up with him. It's also about the hundreds of people who baptized or excused his bullying because they too were caught up in the appeal of the celebrity power. There is without doubt the most abusive, coercive ministry culture. Related to that, somebody said this is without doubt the most abusive, coercive ministry culture I've ever been involved with. The operative word here is culture, not leader. Toxic celebrity power taints and implicates the whole institution. So we're not just talking about one person. We're talking about a culture that taints and implicates, a culture that has toxic celebrity power. So when I was going through things in my marriage, a elder said, I've seen you've gone even to senior coworkers about your situation. Senior coworkers should be people who are in proximation, who don't lack proximity. They aren't people that we are parasocially close to, but that we actually are close to. If we're going through things, we should be able to talk to ones in leadership position and not be rebuked for it as if we aren't worthy of their time. So anyway, this is already getting long, so I'm going to continue in the next, another video. Thank you for listening, and I will be continuing with maybe matters of money. It is still under power, the topic of power with Katelyn Beaty's book, but power has a lot to do with also financial privilege. Thank you.